as the winter approaches. But we'll see, hopefully we'll be back in the garden as the weather improves a bit. Let's take a moment. Allow the eyes to close. Allow the awareness to pull from the world outside to the world inside. Allow the awareness to merge with your breath. Don't try to change the breath, but just allow the awareness to fully merge with it. As the breath flows in, flows out. If thoughts come or sensations come, a sound or a smell, don't worry. Don't try to fight them off, but don't allow the awareness to hook into them. Just draw the awareness back to the breath. On the inhalations and exhalations, you can add a very simple mantra to the awareness of the breath. As you inhale, allow yourself to chant silently to yourself. So. And as you exhale, allow yourself to chant hum. So. Hum. It means I am that. I am one with all that is. I am one with the universe. I am the creator. I am the creation. So hum. As the awareness stays merged into the breath, just allow this mantra to chant in your awareness. Thoughts will come, sounds will come, other distractions will come, don't worry. Don't analyze them, don't judge them. Just draw the awareness back to the breath. And back to the sacred mantra. Slowly and gently bring the palms of your hands together at chest level. And rub the palms of your hands against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Open the eyes and lower your hands. Welcome again to Satsang. The shastras, the vedas, this is one of the questions that has come in advance from our global family around the world that join us through this beautiful medium of technology. The shastras and the vedas seem to call for perfection on our path. But is there a simple way of devotion, one that doesn't require perfection? The perfection is in the devotion. There's nowhere in the scriptures that it says your chanting of the mantra must be flawless. If you're not a Sanskrit scholar, you can't attain enlightenment. It doesn't say that. There's nowhere that it says your performance of the puja must be absolutely flawless. If you are not a well-trained pujari, you cannot attain enlightenment. Doesn't say that. Doesn't say anywhere that the food we offer to God, jambhog lagate, the prasad that we offer to the divine, there's nowhere that it says, make sure there's not too much salt, or make sure that there's enough salt. Make sure that there's just the right amount of ghee and just the right amount of mirch. Because God has a very sensitive palate. It doesn't say that. What it says everywhere is whatever you do it with devotion. That perfection that is being asked of us is not in anywhere other than the devotion. If you look at, for example, path of Jnana Yoga, well, it's impossible to be perfect in wisdom. Nobody says thou shalt memorize all of the Vedas and then God will pay attention to you, or then God will bless you. It doesn't say that. Thou shalt memorize all of the epics, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Ramayana, then you will be worthy. Doesn't say that. Doesn't say thou shalt be the wisest scholar. It just says thou shalt be devoted. We have actually so many beautiful examples throughout the scriptures where what is chosen is devotion. Right? Look at Shorpnaka and Shaburi. Right? So we have what could be perfection in beauty. As Pujya Swamiji says, Miss Universe. Right? So she comes to Bhagawan Ram as Miss Universe. You and I were made for each other. But he wants nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her whatsoever, no matter how Miss Universe she may be. Or Shaburi, this poor, simple village woman. Well, Bhagawan Ram shows up at her house, personally, on her doorstep. What did she have that was perfect? Not her hair, not her makeup, not her degrees, not the fanciness of her house. Nothing but her devotion. So all that we are asked, actually, is to be devoted. Patram pushpam phalam tvayam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupratam ashnami prayatatmanaha. It's a beautiful, beautiful teaching from the Bhagavad Gita. Patram pushpam phalam tvayam. A leaf, a flower, piece of fruit, water. Whatever is offered to me with devotion, I accept it, I enjoy it with love. He doesn't say, but make sure that fruit is like the sweetest of the batch. Make sure it's the biggest apple, the juiciest orange. It doesn't say that. Not everyone can afford the biggest apple. Not everyone lives in places where the oranges are very juicy. He doesn't say, make sure you've imported it from Florida. He doesn't say, give me a Mercedes, give me a mansion. Just the simplest things. A leaf, a flower, piece of fruit, some water. But offer it with devotion. And then I accept that. And I enjoy it with love. It's all we're being asked. So devotion is the key. Don't worry about perfection anywhere else. The only thing we are called upon to be in the rest of our lives is sincere. Sincerity is the virtue that we have to cultivate. It's not about perfection. Nothing is perfect. I mean, either everything is already perfect because we realize it's all God. On that level, there's nothing to do because it's all already perfect. Or on this purely material, physical existence, can't really be perfect anyway. I mean, what is perfection anyway, right? Whatever you're doing, chances are there's someone who can do it better. Whatever it may be. Do you sing? Do you paint? Do you make music? Do you cook? Do you write? Whatever it is, chances are there's someone in the world who can do it better. God is not asking for perfection from us anywhere other than our devotion. But what we are called upon to be is sincere. So in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna speaks about standing up and doing your duty and fulfilling your dharma, it's all about sincerity. He's not telling Arjuna, go out there and make sure that you are the absolute best fighter who has ever fought. Make sure you kill every single one of them and don't let anyone from your side be harmed. Obviously, Arjuna knows that's the goal. Any warrior knows ultimately the goal is minimize the casualties on our side, maximize the casualties on their side so the war ends. That goes without saying. But with 700 verses, nowhere does Bhagavan Krishna say, and make sure you don't miss a shot. You're my star archer. Make sure you don't miss a shot. He doesn't say that. What he speaks about is the sincerity of doing your duty. Even after he has shown him his full form, even after he has totally dispelled Arjuna's ignorance about everything, he still has to fight. And one of the parts I love the most is Arjuna says basically, I'm afraid I could die. I don't want to fight. And I love this because remember that Lord Krishna is God. Okay? So he knows how this is going to play out. He's not sitting, on pins and needles waiting to see what happens with each day's fighting. He's God. He knows. But he doesn't say to Arjuna, don't worry. Don't worry. I promise. You've got this in the bag. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be pretty. Your family's not going to come out so well. But you will not die. He doesn't say that. He says, yeah, you might. Yeah, you might. But to die in the midst of fulfilling your dharma is better than to live forever without fulfilling it. But what I love most about that is this teaching around the sincerity. Just do your best. He doesn't say you've got this. He doesn't say don't worry. He doesn't say take my word for it, I promise nothing's going to happen. I'm God, didn't you know? Don't worry. He doesn't say that. All Arjuna is being called upon to do is to do his duty with sincerity. And that's all any of us is being called upon to do. I can't tell you how many times in my day I say to God, okay, well, you've given me this task, so presumably you are going to give me the tools that are needed to address it. Because you know the tools I have, you know the tools I don't have. So presumably if you want me to do this task you've handed me, you're going to give me the tools. It's not about, I've got to become perfect. It's about, I just have to step up. I have to just step up to what I'm being called to do. To do it the very best I can with the most sincerity I possibly can. And the only place I am expected to be perfect is in my devotion. That no matter what happens, I stay devoted. that love doesn't waver. Days are going to go like I want them to. Days are not going to go like I want them to. So they say, you'll win some, you'll lose some. This is life. But my devotion shouldn't waver. And that which I offer to God, meaning not only the leaf or the flower or the fruit or the water, but anything I do, that I offer it with love. It's another beautiful teaching where he says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjahoshi dadasiyat yat tapasyasi konteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, offer it to me. Whatever you eat, whatever actions you perform, even whatever tapas you do, sadhana you do, offerings you do, whatever you do, offer it to me. That's all we're being asked. Not make sure it's perfect. Just make sure it's offered to me with love. So that's the only place that we are being asked to be perfect. Are there any questions that anyone here has before I take any of the others that have come from our family around the world? Yeah. They say that hardship makes a person stronger. But at what point is there too much hardship? If we had the ability, if we had a magic wand, where we could literally magic wand away the pain, the struggles, well then I'd say, use it whenever you feel like you need to. Hardship feels like too much? All right, pull out your trusty magic wand and make it go away. If there were a mantra that could be chanted to make hardships go away, I would say chant it. Why not? But there isn't. And what we are given in our spiritual teachings is very interesting. We're never told, pray to me and I will make your hardships go away. Pray to me, come to me, love me, surrender to me. And I promise, you'll win them all, you won't lose any. You'll always succeed, you won't fail. No one you love will ever get sick or die. You will never get sick or die. We're never told that. Hardships are, well, rather than using the word hardship, let's say loss. Let's say failure. Let's say struggle and challenge. Because it's only hardship if we take it like that. But failure, loss, struggle, challenge, this is part of life. Everyone's life. Is there any such thing as too much? there shouldn't be. Meaning, this is where we say to God, okay, God, you've given me this task, which means that you must be giving me the tools that I need to address it. You've given me this task of moving forward in the world in the face of one hardship after another, after another. Well, you must presumably be also giving me the tools to deal with it. Because you know what tools I have. But also remember a couple of things that are important around that. Number one, the goal of our life has nothing to do with success, nothing to do with gaining rather than loss, nothing to do with any of that. That which seems to us as hardships and which would seem to be wonderful if the hardship were taken away, that's not actually what the point of our life is. It's not to never get sick or die. It's not to only surround ourselves with people who will never get sick or die. To only do things that we know we're going to succeed at, to never take a risk. It's not what life is for. Those hardships are a part of the fullness of our life. But here's what's also really beautiful is those are actually what in many cases bring us closer to God. At the end of the war of Kurukshetra, going back to our Mahabharata, at the end, Bhagavan Krishna says to Kunti, ask anything of me. Ask anything. You've suffered so much. You've lost so much. Ask anything of me. What does she say? She says, give me more and more hardship. Give me more and more pain. Why? She says, because I've noticed that when things are going very well, you seem very far away. But when I'm really struggling, that's when you are so close. Give me more hardship. And of course there's that beautiful story of the saint who could kiss away leprosy. And so every day they would bring all the lepers to her and she would kiss them and kiss their wounds and heal them of the leprosy. But she always left one wound still oozing and pussing. And one day one of her devotees said, Ma, why do you do this? You've got this amazing power to kiss away their wounds. Why do you leave one left? And she said, because that one wound is what keeps them calling out to God. So in the times of hardship, rather than asking how much more, ask yourself how close to God you can go. How close you can go. How much you can feel that divine presence. How much you can call out to God and feel God there with you. That's the question. Pujya Swamiji always says, instead of asking why me, we should say try me to God. Like, hey, I'm here. I'm strong. Not meaning I don't feel, but meaning I'm connected, I get it. You're with me. So when those hardships are there, use them. Use them as ways to get closer to God. It doesn't mean that we should all always ask for more. You may or may not decide to take Kunti's path and ask God for more suffering. But at least that which you've been given, realize, you've been given it for a reason. It's not about rewards and punishments. Karma is not rewards and punishments. But it's been given to you as the result of past actions, past karma. So it's with you for a reason. That doesn't mean it's good. It just means it's there. Understand as best as you can why it's there. What might have led up to this, if it's something you had any control over. Ask yourself what you can learn from it. And it may not be as simple of a lesson as like, don't go into business with friends. That we know always goes badly. But it may be something much deeper. I mean, the lessons we learn when we lose loved ones, for example, are much deeper than just don't go into business with friends. Those are just lessons that you learn when you get cheated and betrayed. But everywhere there is something to be gained from it. And it may not come immediately, but it's gonna teach you something. And then ask yourself how through this you are supposed to get closer to God. And also, of course, on a purely logistic level, even though we don't have magic wands, there may be ways to minimize your hardship depending on what they are. Just because it is your karmic fruit to have that hardship today doesn't necessarily mean it's your karmic fruit to have it tomorrow. Today you've got it, but today you've also got intelligence and creativity, initiative, innovation. Use it. Try to create a world in which tomorrow or next week, that hardship won't be there. See what you can do. A lot of us become very resigned. Oh, nothing is ever going to go my way. Everything I try, I fail. It's not in my cards. It's not in my stars. It must just be my karma to be miserable. No. It's your karma, or the fruits of your karma, to be exactly where you are right now. We are all sitting in satsang right now because of things that have led up to it. Whether it's those of you here, made a decision, walked in, join us. But first you had to make a decision to arrive in India, in Rishikesh, to come to the ashram, to follow signs, to come into satsang even tonight when there was no announcement made. Right? But you made it. A series of things happened. You ended up making it even without an announcement today. Those joining us online, something has made you turn this on. Something has landed you on this page and has got you listening. That's where we are right now. Nothing we can do to change this exact moment. You can't, beam yourself to Paris or London or Delhi or the moon or wherever. But where are you going to be tomorrow? Where are you going to be next week? Where are you going to be next month? The decisions that you make today are determining that. I always say today is the pre of that which is predetermined for tomorrow. Right? We say, oh, I'm where I am because it must be predestined. Well, where was that pre? When was that pre? Most of us think of pre as kind of thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. In space somewhere, it was written. Right now is the pre of where you're going to be an hour from now, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. So if you find yourself in hardship after hardship, some of them, nothing you can do. Loved ones get sick, loved ones die. Stock markets crash. Houses burn down. Not much we can do. But there's a lot of hardships we face that we actually can make different decisions for in the future. Start making them. See what decisions you can make, what seeds you can plant, so that you're not in this hardship tomorrow or next week. And in the meantime, try on Pujya Swamiji's mantra of, instead of why me, try me. All right, God, this feels like a lot, but I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still loving. I'm still connected. I'm still devoted. I'm still here. And if you don't feel like saying try me because you really feel like you've had enough, no problem. But at least don't ask why me. Realize that which you've been given is there for you to have the experience you're having now. So have it. And then you'll move on. Have a very beautiful rest of your evening. A beautiful morning and day to our family joining us from all over the world. We'll be here in the satsang room rather than the garden for at least another day tomorrow, as they've predicted rain again. And then we'll see as the weather should hopefully get a little warmer before it gets colder again. And we'll shift back to the garden. And I know the time kind of keeps varying based on the arti, but I would recommend that everyone join us. This is true for the online people as well, that everyone join us for the arti prior to satsang. You'll feel deeply inspired and uplifted. And B, then you'll know kind of exactly when satsang is going to start, because about 15 minutes after the arti ends. But otherwise, we'll be here sometime between 6 and 6:20ish, sometimes 5:45 if it ends early. And looking so forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. So much love.